Hello, I'm Mike, and this is Will. We are the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
I'm bringing you issue 38 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine today. And this issue, we got Crawlocke the Jailor, 3 miniatures for the Nighthaunt. That's what they are on the Games Workshop store. So there's Crawlocke himself with a Spirit Torment and his 2 Chainghasts followers. And we also got a new battle mat, which we'll mention later. Heading into the issue now. First up with some backstory on the Chainghasts. So these apparently are the spirits of condemned prisoners who prayed to the gods for aid, but failed to include Nagash in those prayers. And so he spitefully condemned them to be imprisoned forever. Forced them to carry around these flails at all times, which release bolts of energy when they're swung. And they're also bound to serve a Spirit Torment, like Crawlocke the Jailor. Here we have some more history of the Realmgate Wars, the Battle of the Brimstone Peninsula, where Vander's Hammerhand led a Thunderstrike Brotherhood against the forces of Khorne, battling near the Realmgate, linking Akshi to Aesir. A little map of the area here, and it's backstory on the leaders involved. And more backstory on the Skaven, which you've seen the Skaven before, but they're the little cunning rat men who worship the Great Horned Rat, one of the gods of chaos. Mentions a warpstone we've seen before, which is what they use to power their inventions. They use these gnaw holes to move between the realms rather than using the realm gates. It also mentions the 5 major clans. We have the build guide for Crawlocke the Jailor and his 2 Chainghasts. Crawlocke the Jailor is just a Spirit Torment. He just has a name for whatever reason, but he's not really a special character in himself. The build guide's fairly easy to follow. You do need to be fairly careful because there's some fairly fragile spooky bits, and some of the decorations of them can be a bit fragile. But you also get some of these nice base decorations you can put on the walls as well. And the painting guide is fairly similar. Crawlocke himself particularly is basically just all the Nihilag oxide colour. But it's nothing you haven't seen before so far. So blue robes with the red trim for the Chainghasts, Nihilag oxide for all the spook, and the metal as much as you'd expect. The only slightly new thing is doing the bases, where just need to be careful of the texture paint in amongst the little details and then pick them out carefully without getting any of the paint on the dirt. And there you can see the finished molds, and they look pretty much finished at this point as well. They'll fit right in with the rest of the Nighthaunt. So with that little look over, we'll be on to the game for this issue.
So now we're on to our battle for this issue, but before that we have a war scroll for the Chainghasts. These are an interesting unit within the Nighthaunt. They have 2 wounds each, and they're 6-inch move, 4+ save, and bravery 10. They can fly and they're ethereal like all Nighthaunt. Their ghast flails can be used either in melee or as missile weapons. So as a missile weapon they have a 15-inch range, and they have D3 attacks each, which hit on 4s, wound on 3s with -2 rend and 1 damage. And in melee they also hit on 4s and wound on 3s with only rend -1 and 1 damage, but they get a number of attacks equal to the number of enemy models within 2-inch of the Chainghast. So you have to calculate that separately for each model, and the other thing they have is another link in the chain. While the unit is wholly within 12 inches of a friendly Spirit Torment, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 friendly Nighthaunt units while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit itself. So basically they extend the aura that the Spirit Torment has. And on the back, just a quick tutorial so explaining another link in the chain. As I said, it extends the aura effectively, and the sweeping blows to calculate that for each Chainghast individually. Then on to the backstory for our game for this issue. So the battle for Summersong, which we've been playing through already for the past few issues, but there's a map here with the hammer symbols are Stormcast Eternals forces. Xandria Azurebolt vanguard has actually already infiltrated the ruins, as you can see there, and then a few Nighthaunt legions attacking from the right hand side of the picture, and those icons at the top left are Sylvaneth forces. And in the actual story we have Xandria Azurebolt and her Stormcast Eternals in Summersong itself, and they have found a temple which is pulsing with death magic. So they resolved to purge the Nighthaunt from within it. So on to the battle plan, reaching the temple. For the Nighthaunt we have a Spirit Torment. As we mentioned before, Crawlocke the Jailor himself is actually just a Spirit Torment. There's actually no special rules for him, so we'll use his model in this one, but you could actually just use the other Spirit Torment if you want to. 2 Chainghasts, 15 Chainrasps and 9 Glaive Wraith Stalkers. And then we have Xandria Azurebolt, the Knight-Questor, 2 Prosecutors and 8 Liberators for the Stormcast. The battle map, the territories are as usual. The objectives are on the diagonal across the board, as you can see, one in the centre and then on 10 inches away in either direction. Stormcast deploys a unit first, and the Stormcast get the first turn in the first battle round. The game lasts for 4 battle rounds, and whoever controls the most objectives by having the most models within 3 inches of them is the winner. And on the facing page, just to quickly mention it, we have the Realm of Metal, which is the battle map we got with this issue, so this just shows what it'll look like with all the terrain on it when it's finished, and also how to join up the boards we already have. So that's just a preview of what's to come. So nice and simple, get straight onto the game. Here's our battlefield setup, and we've got our 3 objectives along the diagonal across the centre. And this one here, we've once again put it on top of the building because 10 inches away from the centre is actually right in the middle of that wall.
Yeah, we'll just play it so as if the objective is infinitely tall, so as long as you're 3 inches away from it horizontally. Otherwise, it's not fair on the Stormcast.
Yeah, because the magazine gives you paper objectives to use, which you could easily put underneath the wall, but we can't with these ones, so we'll just treat it as though it's on the ground. The Stormcast deployed a unit first, so looking at their deployment, on the left-hand side we have the 2 prosecutors and the Knight-Questor, and on the other side of the statue the Liberators and Xandria Azurebolt, the Uniting Cantor, and she will be my general. And over on the Nighthaunt end we've got the Glaive Stalkers on the right-hand side, the 2 Chaincasts behind them, they're a single unit of 2, 15 Chain Rasps, and then behind them the Spirit Torment, or Crawlocke the Jailor.
Yeah, who's going to be my general, obviously, because he's the only hero.
Well, the Stormcast get the first turn in the first battle round, so we'll go into battle round 1. My hero phase again, command point, and then we're going to try and cast Xandria's Spirit Storm spell, which needs a 7. I didn't get it with a 6, so it doesn't matter. Would have given the Nighthaunt -1 to their run rolls if I could get her within 18 inches, but not going to happen. And this is what our movement looks like. The Liberators and Xandria both ran. The Liberators only rolled 2 and Xandria are 1, but it doesn't really matter. They've just spread out a bit, so hopefully all the Liberators will actually be able to attack something eventually. Prosecutors have moved up just to get their hammers in range, and the Knight-Questor moved up to get alongside the line. And we got some shooting with the Prosecutors. They'll throw 2 hammers at the Glaive Stalkers. We've got 4 shots hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Well, we all hit, and we wound on 4s. Wow, 3 wounds. Yeah, that's much better than they usually do.
Yeah, 4+ saves for the Glaive Wraiths. Not me, 2 failed ones, so 1 Glaive Wraith dead. Take away that one.
But that's it for my turn. On to Nighthaunt turn 1.
So, in my hero phase, I'll gain a command point, and in the movement phase, the Chainrast's going to move up normally, and the Spirit Torment's going to follow along behind, staying back a little bit. Chainghast's going to move up into that ruin, so that they are in range with their flails, and the Glaive Stalkers actually ran. I'm going to go around the flank.
But on to the shooting phase, not something we say with the Nighthaunt very often.
Yeah, I don't get to do much in this phase, so the Chainghast's going to throw their flails at the 2 Prosecutors. So they get 2d3 shots, so 4 in total. Getting on 4s, rerolling 1s because they're within 12 of the Spirit Torment. 3 hits, and then they wound on 3s. Getting 2, -2 rend.
So 5+ saves? No, 6+ saves. Oh, wow, okay. Well, that's that then.
I'm not going to charge the Chain Rasps. They could, but they'll be out of range of the Spirit Torment now.
So that'll be the end of the battle round. So on to battle round 2, we're rolling off. I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 5. I think I'm going to go first. So in my hero phase, I gain a command point, and then everyone's just going to move up normally. So the Chain Rasps and the Glaive Wraiths are going to move in towards the Stormcast. Spirit Torment's going to follow behind, and the 2 Chainghast's are just going to move up on top of the building.
So on to the shooting phase again.
Yep, where the Chainghasts are going to shoot at the Prosecutors again. 2d3 shots at the Prosecutors for 4 again. Hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Reroll those 1s because of the Spirit Torment. They all hit. Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
Can I roll 3 6s? I can roll 1, but that's 2 damage. We will lose this Prosecutor because the other one's closer to the Knight-Questor.
Going to start the charge phase with the Chain Rasps. They're going to charge. Their distance is going to be 4. That's not enough, so I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that. Get a 5. That might actually be enough. So the Chain Rasps are going to finish their rather half-hearted charge like that, and then the Glaive Wraiths are going to charge as well. They get a 9. That's easy enough. So the Glaive Wraiths are going to finish their charge like that. This chap here is not going to be able to fight anyone, but he's going to be within 6 of the Spirit Torment in case I kill another 2 Stormcasts this turn.
So on to the combat phase.
I'll pick the Chain Rasps first because there's a lot of Liberators. So the Chain Rasps are going to pile in like so, so we can all get within an inch of a Liberator apart from this chap here who has to fight the Knight-Questor. So we're going to have 29 attacks on the Liberators. So that's 14 Chain Rasps for 2 each, plus the Dread Warden's extra 1. Hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s because we are wholly within 12 of the Spirit Torment. And this is the first 15 I'm rolling. Reroll those 1s into another hit, so 9 so far. Second 14 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Wow. Reroll the 1, into a miss. 20 hits, wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because there's more than 10 Chain Rasps. That's 10 so far, and then rerolling all the 1s. 14 wounds in total.
14 4+ saves, rerolling 1s because we've got shields. 6 failed and a 1 to reroll into a 1, so that's 7 total wounds, so it's 3.5 Liberators. The obvious people to remove are these 2 down here because they're not going to get into the fight. and the one on the far end for the same reason. And we will put a wound on this one here.
And then there's one Chain Rasp who has to fight the Knight-Questor. 2 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Oh, he got to hit. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s. He wounded.
3+ save, rerolling fails. Oh, fine. So now I get to pick, and I will obviously pick this Prosecutor before he gets stabbed to death with a lot of glaives. So you've got 2 attacks on the glaive race, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. Reroll that 1. Into a hit. 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 2.
4+ saves. Made both. So we're going to be a little bit greedy. These 2 glaive race are going to attack the Knight-Questor, and the other 5 are going to attack the Prosecutor. This one over here is out of range. I'll do the attacks on the Prosecutor first. 10 attacks, hitting on 4s, rerolling all misses because we charged. Good job we can re-roll because there's only 2 hits there. Getting 6 hits in total, and wounding on 3s. Getting 2.
He has 4+ save. Oh, he made them both, so he's fine.
And then 4 attacks on the Knight-Questor, hitting on 4s, rerolling. Rerolling, there we go, 4 hits. Wounding on 3s, getting 3.
3+ saves, rerolling fails again. Oh, made more anyway. Doesn't really matter what order I do my remaining stuff. So we're going to do Xandria first, because otherwise it's possible the Chain Rasps could be pulled to make her not able to fight anymore. So she'll just pile in a bit, making sure she's definitely within her 2-inch weapon range. Then she has 3 hits hitting on 3s. 3 attacks hitting on 3s, well, 2 1s. And wounds on 3. Oh, it did.
5+ for Chain Rasps. Made it.
And the Liberators will go. This one will just pile in. We've got 10 attacks hitting on 4s. Getting 6. And wounding on 3s. Getting 4.
5+ saves for Chain Rasps. Made none of them. 4 dead Chain Rasps. I'll take away that chap who was fighting the Knight-Questor, and then those 2. And then this one over the other end.
And then the Night-Questor will pile in around the base of this glaive wraith like this, but he's going to attack the Chain Rasps. He's in an inch of them, basically because they're not within 6 inches of the Spirit Torment. And so the Spirit Torment can bring back 1 glaive wraith at most, because they've only taken 1 casualty, but he's not in range to bring back any Chain Rasps. So doing more casualties to them seems more valuable, because any glaive wraiths I kill might just come back straight away anyway. He has 4 attacks hitting on 3s. And we've got 4 hits. Wounding on 3s, 6 is 2 damage. We've got a 6 and 2 normal wounds. 2
normal wounds, saved both, and the 2 damage, failed that. So take away these 2.
On to the Battle Shock phase.
Yeah, I'm just going to spend a command point to auto pass.
And I will do the same for the Liberators.
And I'll also bring back D3 Glaive Wraiths.
Yeah, technically that happens at the beginning of the Battle Shock phase, but there's only 1 missing.
So, bring him back there.
And that'll be the end of Nighthaunt turn 2, on to Stormcast turn 2. Gain a command point, and we'll try and use Spirit Storm, needing a 7. Getting a 7, so that's 1 mortal wound to every Nighthaunt within 18 of her, which I think is all of them.
Yeah, it's Glaive Wraith, and this Chain Rasp. The Chainghast in front will take a wound. Crawlocke the Jailor will take a wound as well.
So he's down to 4. And then in the movement phase, everybody's going to stay in melee. I don't think the Knight-Questor can actually retreat towards the objective, because he wouldn't be able to get more than 3 inches away without going a really long way away. Except the Prosecutor has retreated, and he's got enough movement to get all the way on top of the bell tower, which pretty much leaves him safe from, well, at least attacking melee for the moment. So straight to the combat phase, where we'll start with the Liberators fighting. So the ones on the end are just piled in slightly, and then we've got our attacks on the Chain Rasps. 10 attacks hitting on 4s, 5, and wounding on 3s, getting 4.
5+ saves for Chain Rasps. Oh, failed all of them.
So just 4 Chain Rasps left.
I'll do the Glaive Wraiths, I suppose, next. So the Glaive Wraiths are just going to all pile in around the Knight-Questor. 16 attacks from the Glaive Wraiths, hitting on 4s, re-rolling 1s because of the... Re-rolling the 1, into a miss, that's only 7 hits. Wounding on 3s, getting 5.
5 3+ saves, re-rolling failures. Well, we've got 3 failures, which we can re-roll. Now into successes, so no damage on him. I'll do Xandria, she might be able to finish off more of these Chain Rasps. 3 attacks hitting on 3s, getting all of them, and wounding on 3s, getting all of them.
5+ saves, failed 2.
2d3 damage for 3, so there's 1 left.
Well, the Dreadwarden gets to fight back, and he's going to go for the Liberators. 3 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Oof.
And that leaves the Night-Questor, who obviously will attack the Glaive Wraiths. 4 attacks hitting on 3s, getting 3, and wounding on 3s, 6 to 2 damage. Oh, 1 6 and 2 1s. 4+ save, failed, so 2 dead Glaive Wraiths. Take away those 2. So that brings us on to the Battle Shock phase, where the Dread Warden does have to take a Battle Shock test.
7 Chainghasts, so 1, 2 or 3 is good. Oh, he's fine.
So that is the end of this turn, and the end of the battle round. So on to battle round 3, we'll be rolling off. I've rolled a 4.
Get in the box. I only rolled a 2, so...
Yeah, it definitely makes sense for me to go first, so on to Stormcast turn 3. 2 command points, and we'll do Spirit Storm once again, needing a 7. Getting a 5. Movement phase, we're going to stay in melee, apart from the Prosecutor who's jumped down here, so he's holding that objective, and he's also outside of the thrown weapon range from the Chainghasts, but inside his own range. And in the shooting phase, he will throw his hammers at the Chainghasts. 2 shots hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Reroll 1 into a hit, so 2 hits, wounding on 4s. 1.
4 plus save. Failed, so Chainghast will die.
And then we'll be on to the combat phase where we will do Xandria first. So she's within 2 inches of the Dread Warden. 3 attacks on 3s. They have all hit, and wounding on 3s, and they've all wounded.
5 plus save. No, didn't.
No. That's the end of the chain rasps, so the glaive wraiths get to go.
So the glaive wraiths are going to pile in like that. Probably get these 3 on the Liberators, and the other 3 have to fight the Knight-Questor. The attacks on the Liberators first. 6 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, getting 1.
4 plus save, rerolling 1s. That's a 1. Reroll it into a 4.
And then the Knight-Questor, reroll that 1. 4 hits. Wounding on 3s, getting 4.
4 plus save, 3 plus save, rerolling. Reroll that fail. Nope, he's still okay. Do the Liberators next. They've piled in like this, so 3 of them are able to strike the glaive wraiths. 6 attacks hitting on 4s. 2. And wounding on 3s. Just 1.
4 plus save. Failed. No, take away this one.
So that just leaves the Night-Questor. He can't pile in, so 4 attacks hitting on 3s. And we've got 3 hits. Wounding on 3s, 6 to 2 damage. Again, we've got a 1, 6 and 2 fails.
4 plus. Made it that time.
And nothing to do in the Battle Shock phase, so we're on to Nighthaunt turn 3.
In my hero phase, I'll gain a command point, and then in the movement phase, the Chainghast is going to move up a tiny bit. He's still major the objective. The glaive wraiths will fall back, and the Spirit Torment will move up closer to the Stormcast.
In the shooting phase,
Yeah, we're going to throw some hammers at the Liberators. D3 shots for 1. Hitting on 4, rerolling 1s. Missed. In the charge phase, the Spirit Torment will charge the Liberators. He's definitely in. The glaive wraiths will charge as well, as they can fall back and charge, because they have the drummer, but they succeed. So they're going to finish their charge like that. And I'll pick the Spirit Torment to go first. 3 attacks hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. Roll that 1. Into a hit. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s.
I'll pick the Knight-Questor to go, and he will pile in this way, which brings him in range of the objective. Whereas if the glaive wraiths went first, they could probably prevent him from doing that, and then he will obviously attack the glaive wraiths. 4 attacks hitting on 3s. Well, there we go, 2 1s. Wounding on 3s, 6 to 2 damage. 3 and 6.
Regular hit. Saved. 2 damage. Failed. Just take away those 2.
Then the glaive wraiths get to kill themselves.
They're all going to attack the Liberators. 6 attacks, rerolling everything. Hitting on 4s, so reroll those. 4 hits. Wounding on 3s. 2.
4 plus 6, rerolling 1s. Reroll that 1. Oh, I didn't actually want to succeed on that because I want the 1 wound Liberator to die because he's in the way. Yes, I actually wanted this guy to die because he's just out the way and in the way, but never mind. So the Liberators get to pile in and fight now. Everyone's going to attack the glaive wraiths because they can do retreat and charge shenanigans and stuff.
Also, I can bring them back.
Yeah, and they can come back. 6 attacks on 4s, getting 5. Wounding on 4s, getting 4.
4 plus saves. Failed 2, so there's only 1 left.
Yeah, it's actually wounding on 3s, I don't know why I said 4s. And that's the end of the battle round.
Yeah, I'm just going to concede at the end of the battle round. Doesn't really matter if I go first, because I'm probably not going to kill 3 without losing that other glaive wraith and get some back. And there's 2 heroes on full health, and the Prosecutor can just move across and contest that objective. And the Chainghast won't be able to kill him because he won't get enough attacks.
Yeah, so it looks very unlikely that the Nighthaunt can hold any objectives anymore. So that will be a Stormcast victory, and we will recap the game for you now. So that was the Battleplan for issue 38 of Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. How do you think that went?
Worse than I expected I would do. It probably would have helped if the glaive wraiths had done any damage at all. And I think I probably made a mistake. I probably should have left a chain rasp back so that they were within 6 of the Spirit Torment, so I could bring some of them back instead of the Glaive Race. And then if I'd gone first on the next round, the Chainghasts might have been able to do enough damage to get rid of the Liberators. I think if I'd managed to get rid of all the Liberators, I would have been fine, basically.
Yeah, because you killed 4 models straight off the bat, and then you didn't really do anything after that. I think I did roll well for my saves. I think, to be fair, the Knight-Questor did his usual thing of just not dying or not taking any damage because of rerollable saves, which...
And Glaive Race not having any rend, and the Spirit Torment rolled a double 1 for his wounds on the Liberators, and that time he rolled the double 6 on the Prosecutor, because the Prosecutor could have easily just zipped across and contested against the remaining Chainghasts, because the Chainghasts couldn't actually kill him.
Yeah, so actually it's worth pointing out, even though you conceded, that the way the final turn would have gone down is you were holding one objective and you had 2 models. So if you had gone first, you could have retreated and been on the middle objective, but then I would have just had more models and been able to basically either pick you off or just...
It would have been a very slim chance that the Spirit Torment could have killed 3 of the Liberators, survived and brought back 3 Glaive Race. But you probably could have moved the Prosecutors to contest the objective, and that's if I'd gone first in that battle round as well.
Yeah, and my plan was the Xandria might be able to Arcane Bolt the remaining Chainghast, and then the Prosecutor would throw hammers and then charge him, and then at the very least hopefully be able to test the objective or take it. Yeah, by the end I just had far more models and 2 undamaged heroes, so
And you probably could have actually just sent the Xandria on her alone, just so she could blow herself up and take out most of the Chainghaasts, and that probably would have won you the game then.
Well, I didn't deploy in a way that would have allowed me to do that. I would have had to deploy differently because she was behind everybody. I decided not to, partly because we've seen that before, but also because I wasn't entirely confident, even if I'd taken out a load of Chainghaasts. I was a little bit concerned by the high rend of the Chainghasts and Spirit Torment, so I felt like my Liberators actually did quite well. I think they did a bit more damage than they usually do. They're usually fairly tough. They're usually quite good at absorbing a charge. Yeah, in this case I felt like they actually did a fair bit of damage. They did win that fight against the Chainghaasts, basically, because Xandria killed a few, but she didn't actually do that much to help. Also, having a unit of 8 Liberators is kind of pointless, because as you saw, really, they kind of just get in the way. Because they only have a 1-inch weapon range, they're very rarely ever all going to get to fight. The funny thing was, even though you killed 3 of them with your charge, you killed 3 who wouldn't have been able to fight the Chainghaasts anyway, so I didn't lose any attacks. You just made my life a bit more convenient.
And also, they're kind of cramped in your deployment zone.
Yeah, there was only one place easily I can deploy them without them getting caught on the terrain, and
I was a bit disappointed by the Chainghasts, but then it's nice to have a ranged unit, and they have high rend, but there are only 2 of them.
And again, I did roll a double 6, which was lucky.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice to have a unit I can sit back on an objective and still be able to contribute. And they're potentially useful in melee. Could get a lot of attacks. Probably not against Stormcast, because Stormcasts are too big. And plus Stormcasts have 2 wounds each, and Chainghaasts only do 1 damage, so...
Yeah, but if you can get them into a unit of small base infantry or something, then they could potentially get quite a lot of attacks each.
And I just say they're much more useful for their ability to extend the Spirit Torment's aura.
But on this board, in this game, that wasn't really that necessary, because the board is small enough and the Spirit Torment was in the right place. And actually, if you had 1 Spirit Torment and 2 units of Chainghast, you can extend it in multiple directions, the aura, so you could actually extend across your whole army.
It also combo well with a unit we'll get later, which is the Gheists Revenants. Gheists Revenants, I believe, can reroll hits if they're within 12 inches of a Spirit Torment or a unit of Chainghasts, so combo well with them. I suppose the only other issue with Chainghasts... Well, this issue is quite a good value for money, because I think this set, Crawlocke the Jailor, is something like £20, but it's also the only way to get a Spirit Torment outside of the Soul Wars box, and it's the only way to get Chainghasts at all. So it is worth it just for more Chainghasts.
And it is a bit odd that... it might be a bit confusing that we get a model that is called and sold as Crawlocke the Jailor, but he is a Spirit Torment. There is nothing special about him. Conceivably, it might confuse a newer player.
There's another one that's a named Lord Executioner, again. It's just a generic Lord Executioner with a different model. It doesn't even have a different weapon or anything.
It's not the magazine's fault in this case, it's just what it's sold as by Games Workshop. So, and we also got the new battle mat, obviously, with this issue, which will be seen coming up from issue 41. We'll be playing on that one instead. It obviously comes with a new set of terrain.
Well, actually, looking ahead, I believe this is actually the last game we play on this side of the board. And in the next one, we'll actually be on the other side. Where we get to deploy the terrain ourselves, so we'll have that to look forward to at least.
But I don't think there's anything else to be said for this episode, so if you enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on this game, or indeed tactics for the Nighthaunt. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye for now.